Hey kids, it's your good pal Satan here. Hey man, before we begin this sex education series, I wanted to point out that it is pretty gosh darn important that we act as mature adults. This is a pretty serious subject and we need to treat it as such. With that said, Spank, take it away. Hey kids, big surprise. Dr. Killjoy is here from the Atlantic City Department of Health. He's here to talk to all of us about the sexual reproductive system. Tee hee hee, ha ha ha, hey class, do you want to be treated as children? Or would you like to be treated as young adults? Well then let's get a little mature here. Dr. Killjoy. Thanks, Teach. Hey, class, she's right. Let's get mature, because I'm going to be talking about the rectum, the anus, the scrotum, the testes, and we're going to talk a lot about the penis. We're spending a great deal of time talking about the penis. But before we get into that, I'm curious. I've got a fancy medical degree, so I know all these medical terms. But I'm wondering, one of you kids want to share with the rest of the class what are some of the other words you use to call the penis? Yes, you. Gee golly, my name is Spanky. I suppose cock and balls, but doggone it, you gotta be a little bit more creative than that, so I would say... Spanky? Let's behave ourselves. Okay, cock and balls. That's great. So... Gee golly, like I was saying, there's Pecker, Johnson, Prick, Rooster, Lil Billy, Wang, Octagon, Wow, you're really excited about this subject, but we need to move on, Spanky. Gee golly, I have so many more. Floppy drive, hard drive, gear shift, the worm, bookworm, wand, sword, hammer. Spanky! That'll be enough, young man. One more outburst out of you and it's straight to the principal. Do you understand? Gee golly, Teach. I'm just excited to learn. Ha! Floppy drive, hard drive. Spanky, you're so cool the way you act out in class. Gee whiz, Spanky, you're so funny. Oh, Spanky, you're bad. Now, let's get ready to do a deep dive, class, into the female reproductive system. Well, gosh darn, Dr. Killjoy, I know you went to medical school, but something's missing in that diagram. You're right. I do have a fancy medical degree, and I hope you're not getting ready to disrupt the class again, because we're going to be talking about the vagina, and that's pretty gosh darn important, Spanky. So what exactly is missing from this medical diagram? Well, gee whiz, Doc. Boobies! Holy cow! You said boobies! That's so radical, Spanky! Spanky, you're like wicked funny! Spanky? I think you and I both know that wasn't a serious question. Now, there'll be no more outbursts from you, young man. Otherwise, you will go to the principal. Gee golly, Teach. I was just excited to learn. But oh gosh, thanks for stamping out my enthusiasm. I suppose I'll go back to doing what I always do. Spanky, go to the principal's office now, young man. Oh, Spanky, you're a bad boy. Wow, big surprise. Get in here, Spanky. Gee whiz, Principal Hard. What a pleasure to see you. Well there, Mr. Free Spirit. Do you see where that lack of school spirit lands you? Right here in my office. I suppose you think it's funny, Spanky, to shout out terms like boobies and Lil Rooster and disrupt a pretty gosh darn important sex ed class. And mister, I suppose you think it's super duper cool to sit in the back of the class with your drug paraphernalia and blow grass. Well, I suppose you think that's real funny, mister. Well, let me tell you something. Well, I don't find it funny, mister. Nor do I appreciate you bringing your drug culture and humor into my school. I'm giving you 2 weeks detention. Jesus titty fuck Christ, Principal Hard. In? It was just fucking weed, man. Spanky, this town is full of degenerates, and I've seen my fair share in this school. But I gotta tell you, mister, you take the cake. Your non-normative behavior and drug culture are one thing, pal. But it is your failure to get on board and start respecting authority that I just can't overlook. You're gonna go nowhere with that attitude, Spanky. Now get out of my office. Gee golly, that was inspiring. Hey kids, have no fear. We're gonna have more sex education episodes. Your good pal Satan would never deceive you on this one. While we're on that topic, I bet a few of you are wondering, why the fuck is Satan getting so much camera time on this episode? Why come he is getting all the airtime? Well, I suppose I could spoon feed you, but I care more about you than that. So why don't you just keep tuning in to Spanky's to find out more? Until then, let's all remember to keep spanking. I hate your friend!